I found the new 2022 low income subsidy numbers. I sent that to all your emails, so you have it. And I have the election period booklet that shows all the SEPs, the special election periods, all the enrollment periods. And I'm going to talk about that next. But if you can look here, this is for all the 48 states plus DC. And you can see down below, Alaska and Hawaii are different levels. But if you look here, you guys see where it says the partial low income subsidy along the green line. Below that, it shows you the monthly income eligibility requirement. And if you go down, it says single. So non-duals. So at the bottom of that, you see where it says 1719. So that is the new level as a single, and 2309 is the new level as a couple. So when you're talking to someone, you can say, hey, you may get help with your Part B premium and the cost of prescriptions if you make less than 1719 now. So if you're around that, you want to do the application, because remember, the average person can save up to $3,900 a year by qualifying for low income subsidy. You know, they may help you with your Part B premium, maybe not, but they may not help with the Part B premium, but help with the cost of prescriptions. So the closer you are to this 1719 a month as a single, or 2309 as a couple, the closer you get to that number, the less benefits you get. So, but if you do qualify for low income subsidy, you can sign up for plans all year round. And this is going to go right into what I'm talking about next, as far as the special election periods. So if they qualify for any help from Medicaid, Medi-Cal, the low income subsidy, that's what we're talking about here. Remember, there are two separate programs. Medicaid or Medi-Cal in California, for example, those are state programs that help with their medical costs. This low income subsidy that I'm showing you right now is from Medicare and Social Security. So it's two separate programs, and this low income subsidy is not as strict. Medicaid is real strict. So the income levels for Medicaid are usually around 1,000 or less a month, you know, depending on the state and all that. But you can see low income subsidy is around 1719 or less a month. So they can make quite a bit more money per month and qualify for extra help with this low income subsidy. And this is extra help with their Part B premium and the cost of prescriptions. All right. So those are the numbers. And after a while, if you talk about them a couple of times, you'll have it memorized for now. But remember, these go up every year. So someone that may have not have qualified last year because they made $1,650 a month, now they qualify because they make less than $1,719 a month now. So I have had clients where they go, man, I don't qualify, but they checked like 5 years ago. They thought it was a year ago that they checked, but it was actually 5 years ago. And the levels back then were $1,400 or less a month. So now they qualify, and then you're helping them. And guess what? You'll never lose that client because you helped them get extra help, and they're going to stay with you. And that's good retention. So for your renewals, when they stay with you, obviously you're making, you know, around $25 a month, depending on which state you're in, per person renewals forever. So you want these folks to stay on with you as long as possible. And if you're doing all this stuff for them and help, you can keep them. So if they make 1719 or less a month, and remember, they can't have a lot of assets either. So the asset requirement is right next to that. You guys see that right there? They can't have more than 15,510 in assets as a single, and they can't have more than 30,950 as a couple in assets, like in the bank, 401ks, IRAs, or anything like that. So if they have more assets than that, then they won't qualify either. So they could make, you know, $1,400 a month, but if they have those huge assets, you know, they won't qualify. That same thing with Medicaid, you know, the state help with medical costs. Okay. Any questions on this before I move to the enrollment guide, the election period booklet? Anybody have questions about the low income subsidy? And this is what those commercials are talking about. And this is the hook that's getting them to call in. And So that's what made it have us a lot more work this year, because a lot of clients called us about these commercials saying, hey, they're saying I can get my Part B paid for. Well, they're making it sound like everybody can get it, but not everybody can get it. So when they call in, then they go, oh, well, you don't qualify, but I can change your plan and get you more benefits as far as blah, blah, blah. But when you're calling leads or talking to people, bring up those commercials, because I do every appointment now. I say, hey, you saw the Joe Namath commercials? Well, you can get extra help with your Part B premium, but you have to qualify. So, I tell them same thing I'm talking about with you. I say, hey, they make it sound like everybody can get it, but they can't, because you don't want them, after you just sign them up for a plan, you don't want them to call that number and switch their plan, especially if you don't talk to them about this low income subsidy. So that's why it's important to talk about it with every client. And the way I kind of smooth that out with clients is that I say, hey, it might not be for you, this low income subsidy, because some people might be, not really wanting to talk about their income and all that. But you say, hey, it might not be for you, but it could be for a family member. And then I bring up my grandma, because my grandma only made $440 a month. So she qualified for, Medicaid and low income subsidy. Because my grandma didn't get my grandpa's benefit. He was, veteran with, somehow there was a mess up and she didn't get his benefit, which was a real other nightmare. But so she only was getting $440 a month. So she qualified for all these programs. And she worked all her life, so anyway, it's a whole nother story. But so you always want to talk about this. And then election periods. So I sent out in the same email that I sent this, the election period booklet, the new one for 2022. It took me a while to find it, but the companies used to send them out, and now they don't. So the last few years, they haven't sent them out. You have to go out and kind of find them or ask reps for them. But let me try to bring that up here. Let me try to find it. Oops. Let me see if I have that election period booklet up. Okay, right here. All right, do you guys see my screen where it says election period booklet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always have to ask, because for a while there, I was always having to, it was messing up. So here's the election period booklet that I sent to you guys. All right. So you can actually look at this, later, but it goes through all the enrollment periods that are available, all the special election periods. So for example, the main ones are going to be obviously annual election period, the open enrollment period, which we're in now, special election periods, and it's going to talk about those. But what you want to do is, if there's some weird snafu situation, because every once in a while you'll run into them, you can actually go through here and find out which special election period may help them. So right now, all around the country, there's these disaster, because there's a lot of disasters, going on, like the flooding. So like up here in Washington, there's flooding. Over the whole East Coast right now is having that boom cyclone. So I'd imagine the whole East Coast will have the special election period for disaster. So if someone didn't make their election during a valid election period, but now because of whatever disaster they were in, they can switch their plan. So every once in a while, you may use that special election period, right? So it even gives you examples of, like here it says Maria, if you read that, it's like a scenario why they could use that enrollment period, all right? So if you scroll down farther, it gives you examples in all the, like delayed Part B. Here's one. So let's say, someone didn't get Part B because they have the employer plan. Now they're 70 years old and now getting B. So they're going to use this, ICEP. That's the election period. Or they could use an open enrollment period if it's right now, if they were on like an Advantage plan or something like that. But this is a delayed Part B. For example, I'm going to scroll down farther. And it gives you examples and why to use which enrollment periods. Here's the SEP for dual or low income subsidy. All right. So if they qualify for Medicaid or low income subsidy, they can sign up all year round for plans once a quarter now. But the last quarter of the year follows AEP guidelines. So if they're on a dual eligible, so Medicare and Medicaid, and it's now October 15th, that last quarter of the year, they have to use the AEP sign up for a January 1st effective. Whereas the first 3 quarters of the year, they can sign up anytime, once a quarter, and it starts the first of the next month. So let's say right now, you could actually use OEP right now as well, but you could also use right now the SEP dual eligible. If you sign them up today, it would start March 1st with their plan. Or if you sign them up in March, it would start April 1st with their plan. But that last month of the year, it follows the AEP guidelines. So you can only sign them up October 15th to December 7th for a January 1st effective from October, November, December. All right. So also you can scroll down here and it just starts talking about all the different enrollment periods. So remember, people with dual eligibles and low income subsidy folks, since they can sign up all year round, that opens up to where, it makes it to where you can sell all year round. Not only the people turning 65 all year round, people losing their employer plan, which a lot of people because of COVID now are deciding to retire. So there's a lot of business out there. And remember, 10,000 people a day are turning 65 right now, all the baby boomers. So there's huge business, more than enough. So I know because of COVID, some of these places are still not able to go into, but I'm able to go into my retirement communities and still work them. So marketing, remember, you can still go into some of these retirement communities now. A lot of them are opening up, and if they're open, I'm in there. I'm putting a table in there and I'm signing people up. I was just in one of my retirement communities the other day and I signed 3 people. So when I'm there, the people at a retirement community, the people go, "Oh man, the rep's here." Especially now because it's open enrollment. They go, "Oh man, I signed up for this plan and my doctor's not covered." That happened to me the other day. I was in one of my retirement communities. And so we always recommend doing events. If we can get into the food banks, those are awesome. Because most of those people that are going to the food bank qualify for the dual eligible or low income subsidy. And on your table, you have those 2 cards. There's marketing pieces where it shows the 2 cards, your Medicare card and your Medicaid card or Medi-Cal card. So if you ever want to talk about marketing and where to go, get a hold of me as well. All right. So retirement communities are the best because that's where these people live. The folks that qualify for Medicare live in these retirement communities. So obviously those are the best. This last AEP, obviously I went to one of my retirement communities and, usually the first day of AEP when I'm there, I usually sign a lot of people. So a couple years ago, I signed 9 at this one. And then that same one this year, when I got in there, I signed 7. So because the people are, wanting to change and they don't know that they can change during a year. So they're waiting to AEP. And then when you're the first person they see it, and have a table in that retirement community, you're going to get them. So I'm just giving you a couple examples. So here's a loss of employer group coverage, SEP. It's EGHP, Employer Group Health Plan is what that stands for. So if someone's losing their employer plan, and right now I have quite a few people I'm working with that have called me, referrals that said, "Hey, I'm losing my employer plan. I got to go on Medicare." So I'm helping them not only with how to get Part B going, but also I'm going to sign them up for a plan. So this is the SEP you use, and you always want to use the employer group health plan, the loss of employer group health plan, SEP if that's what's happening, because you want to use that, because then it generates a letter where they say they had credible coverage, so that way they're not hit with any penalties on Part D, especially for Part D, because their employer plan that they had for years is usually credible coverage. And if it's not credible coverage, then they would have gotten letters, from their employer that their coverage is not credible. So remember, they have to have credible coverage to not be hit with a penalty for Part D. All right. So you always want to use the loss of employer group health plan, SEP, if that's what is happening with them, because they may qualify for like 3 or 4 different enrollment periods. Because right now they could probably do, when they're just adding Part B, you could use the ICEP, the delayed Part B. We could use that enrollment period. That would work. But we want to use this loss of employer group coverage, so that way it keeps them from getting hit with a penalty. And obviously you can go back and change that and fix that by using a national program called Maximus. So if someone's getting hit with a Part D and they don't think that they should be getting hit with a Part D penalty, we can send them a form. It's a Maximus form. And actually I'll send that to everyone as well. But they can actually then go and fight to get that Part D penalty fixed. So loss of employer group coverage, that's what's happening a lot right now. Here's the 5-star special election period. So if a plan qualifies for 5 stars, folks can sign up for all year round. They have a 1 chance a year to sign up for a 5-star plan. So for example, LA, Los Angeles, WellCare is a 5-star plan, and they have the Give Back plan that gives them $125 back on their Part B. Crazy. So almost everybody in LA is going with this WellCare Advantage plan, and they can sign up all year round. Once a year, they can sign up for a 5-star plan, and WellCare is one of the only plans that is 5-star in California, in the LA area. So I'm just giving you one example of a 5-star. And right now in Washington, there's I know that there was a 5-star, but I don't think any of them are 5-star now. I know Group Health, well, now it's Kaiser, but they were 5-star for a few years back, for like a year, but I don't think anybody's 5-star in Washington, for example.
Yeah, Kaiser and Providence are 5-star.
Are they 5-star again?
Yeah.
Okay.
But those are all the closed network ones. So the open networks are not, but
Exactly.
closed are. Yeah.
So, and it's easier for a closed network group like Kaiser to get 5-star, because remember, companies are rated on how doctors take care of them. That's one of the ratings, the biggest ratings. So that's out of the plan's hands, but they're rated on it. So obviously, if you have less doctors, it's easier to get a 5-star. Does that make sense? So let's see. Let's talk about another one here. And we're almost done. I just wanted to kind of go over here. Here's a cheat sheet, that just gives a little explanation on all the special election periods. So if an area has a chronic illness plan, there's the chronic SEP, involuntary loss of credible coverage. Obviously, if they gain an employer plan, let's see, institutionalized, here's a good one. So if someone goes in and out of a skilled nursing facility, long-term care facility, nursing home, that opens up to a special election period where they can sign up when they go into one or go out of one. So that's a nice SEP. So if someone just goes into a skilled nursing facility after a major surgery, that opens them up to a special election period. A lot of agents don't know about that, but even going to a skilled nursing facility for a few days, they qualify for a special election period. So that's kind of nice as well. All right. So you may have someone that wants to change their plan, but it's the middle of the year and they go into a skilled nursing facility and they let you know about it. You can say, hey, we can use that to change your plan now. Also, there's a new one for these supplement plans called the birthday month. So now once a year, like in California, during their birthday month, they can actually go to a supplement plan, guaranteed issue. And a lot of states are starting to add that now. I think Nevada's adding it. Yep, they are. Nevada's adding it. So a lot of the states will probably start following suit on that. And eventually, I'm pretty sure it'll be guaranteed issue everywhere. But as of right now, a lot of states aren't guaranteed issue, but Washington is, whereas most states aren't guaranteed issue to go from an advantage plan to a supplement. Here's some other special election period, termination of contract, retro Medicare determination. So this retro one is if someone signs up to get Part B, but let's say it's February and they signed up for Part B to start November 1st, but Medicare has been dinking around and it's February now, and they still haven't heard from Medicare if their Part D starting, but Medicare is still going to start their Part B in November 1st, but you can sign up for a plan now using this retro Medicare determination, because it's still in the works. They're still pending for the Part B to start. So that's one that you would use for that situation. But there's a few other ones. Here's the FEMA declared weather related emergency. Up and down the I-5 corridor here, you can use the flood one all the way up till the end of this month. So February 28th. In some areas now have extended that out because there's been newer floods. So the companies send these out to these declared weather related emergency SEPs, but it's always good to check on that stuff as well. All right, so that's it. I know I went over a little bit over an hour. I just wanted to kind of go an hour. Anybody have any questions before we go on this? But obviously anytime you can get a hold of me, or Lee Jordan is another one. You can get a hold of me or Lee Jordan if you have any questions about any of the stuff we went over today.
Hey,
Any
Todd,
questions? Go ahead.
Did you send this this cheat sheet in email as well?
Yep.
It's sent. Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep. So anytime there's any questions, I always get calls from agents on which one to use. Don't hesitate. We want you to sell. Obviously, if you're on the WhatsApp app, and if you're not on the WhatsApp app, make sure to get a hold of me. That way, either text me or email me or call me so I can get you on the WhatsApp app, because we have the Savings Options and Solutions WhatsApp app to where you can ask any questions. And what's nice about that is you can get real-time answers on that. So if you're in an appointment and you get a question you don't know, you can put it on WhatsApp on that app, the Savings Options and Solutions. So if you're not on there, make sure to get on there, because you can get like answers to questions right away when you're in an appointment. And obviously that helps you make a sale right then, instead of saying, hey, I don't know the answer, I'll get back to you, and then you'll have to come back out, which is still okay, but you'd rather sell it right then, if possible. So if you're not part of the WhatsApp app, make sure to get a hold of me, and we'll do that. So my phone number, if anybody wants to write it down, is 253-232-4912. That's 253-232-4912. And obviously you've got my email address from the emails I sent out. But let me know if you need to get on WhatsApp if you're not on it already. Any other questions you guys have? All right. This is recorded. Hopefully I can figure out and send it out. But usually Zoom is sometimes messed up where they want you to put a pin in and then it never gives you a pin, or the pin's wrong, it says, or something like that. Anyway, if it's recorded, I'll send it out because I did record this. But all right, guys, any questions, call me. If you have any other questions that pop up on this, don't hesitate to text me, call me, email me. All right. All right, guys, that's it. Have a good rest of the day. Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
You got it. All right. Have a good one, guys. All right. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.